Okay, so what we're going to do is a silent run through. That is the first monochrome image. Again, no comments. And again, please mute if you can. Here we go.
Do people see it?
Yes.
Other people? I don't see it.
I see
I
it.
do. I see it.
I see
Okay.
it.
Then it's me, which is not unusual, and that is why Mike is running this show.
Okay, that's the last one in color. So I'm going to go back to the first image so we can stay in order for ease. That's the first image. So Carl, the ball park is yours.
Okay. First, I want to say to this group,
Oh, let
you
me
made a difficult job for me because you're all very good. I
let
did
me
not have
Carl.
to.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Carl. I didn't mean to interrupt. Let me make state the title. If you don't mind,
No,
I'll do that before
I'm
you.
here.
I can get this thing to do what it's supposed to do. Darn it. Just oh darn it, what's going on here? Okay, just lost it. Anyway, I had it on my iPad. Now it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Just a minute. My iPad just did something I didn't want it to do, and let me see here. Let me just do it that way. Download video. When someone else has the title. Just a minute. Okay, try this again.
Ready to try?
Okay, title is I want it to do.
Title is Tree Frog.
American Tree Frog. That's the title.
American Tree Frog. And it's a very interesting picture. One that you would not see often. And if we did, we'd want to see this frog's eyes. We can't really. But nevertheless, it's just beautifully done. Every line, everything works the way it should. This is a really nice photograph. No particular complaints.
Okay. Next one is. Sorry. Next one is.
I can't tell you the name.
I know, but I'm having prompt this. This is
Yeah.
with this iPad for some reason.
Okay. Let's see if I can show it on the iPad.
Maybe Daryl has the titles because I'm battling this thing.
Okay.
God, it work. I had it set up and now it's not doing what it's supposed to do. I was using my iPad to read the titles. Okay.
You ready?
No, forgive me for this. I apologize deeply. I'm just trying to.
Hey, I had trouble.
Do what
You
it's
can
supposed
have
to do.
trouble now.
You probably have the titles, Carl.
No, not in the order that you have them.
I'll call them up on my screen and read them
Thank
off.
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
See if I can get to them. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm battling this thing. Okay, the title of this one's Classic Elegance.
And it is. It's a beautiful young lady, perfectly posed, perfectly done. Eyes are gorgeous. The lights in the eyes are all there. Like everything else that you guys and girls do, gorgeous photograph. There's not much I could think about improving on this.
All righty. The next one is Crazy Skies Over the Smokies.
Yes, again, exposure is perfect. I have great detail in the mid area. I have the wonderful detail of the trees. And of course, it's meant to be an image of the sky, which it is. My only problem with this image, and I wouldn't mind this image on my wall, is that I don't know for sure where I want to look. I keep scanning and going. I get to the bright parts of the image up in the sky, especially that very bright part up at the top, and that pulls me away from almost everything else in the image. I would almost like that a little bit darker so I could concentrate on the detail that is in this image.
All
That's
right.
it.
The next one is Foggy Morning at Stone Mountain.
And here we almost go in the opposite direction from the previous one. A very light photograph, very well done. Looks like a little boat in the center, but I'm not quite sure. Ducks, everything works. The mountains in the background. It's, again, a beautiful image. And no complaints about exposure, ISO, anything.
All righty.
Told you this is going to be easy with your group. It's going to be a bunch of accolades.
All right. Thank you. The next one is Greater Yellow Legs.
Yes, love the reflection on this bird in the water. I have one small complaint, and that's the excess amount of white, at least to my eye, on the left-hand side of the picture. I almost could see this as a vertical in its own way that emphasizes the bird more than the background, which is really featureless. But again, nice photograph.
All righty. The next one is Really Wish I Could Read Latin.
I laughed aloud at this one. Perfect title. And a perfect view of looking at a bird. Again, normally we got to see a bird's eye. Here we're seeing the bird's rear, which is what I take very often. But nevertheless, it's a picture that brings you in and makes you think about what he is doing and what he is thinking. And the title is stunning. Very good.
All right. The next one is In Sea Waterfall.
I've been seeing a lot of photographs like this, and again, it's a beautiful done one. Everybody, done with this flow shutter speed, everything works. Only minor complaint is I might have taken off a little bit amount of the trees on the left. Otherwise, no complaints.
All righty. Very good. Next one is Offer.
I love his eyes. I mean, he's looking to say, would you really want to buy this? I love the way the background has been blurred out. Yes, I have people there. I got a bicycle there. I have a whole bunch of stuff, but it doesn't hurt anything in the image. About the only complaint I might have, and I do, is I probably would have eliminated that little twig on the left bottom part of the picture. I might also have eliminated the French fence post, but at first I would simply try the twig. Great instant photograph.
All righty. The next one is Romantic Love.
With thorns. Whoever saw this picture really made something very special. And that most people, including me, would probably pass it by and say, I can't see anything that's worth photographing in here. But everything is, the background is blurred out perfectly, so we have perfect sharpness within the pine branches themselves, cactus branches themselves. And of course, I love the hearts that seem to be on this plant. Great image.
Another name would have been Fatal Attractions. But
No, I thought that. So
Okay,
did my wife when she looked at it.
yeah, the next one is Serenity.
And it is beautifully lit. Lots of nice detail in her hair. Lots of nice detail in her wrist bracelet. Lighting is done perfectly. It's a stunning picture except for one minor thing. And that minor thing is the background. I can see, and I don't know if you're seeing it on your screen, if we go to where her neck begins to bend up, there's some sort of reflection that is lighter in color, as if some light hit that area where you would think reflections would be dark, but it takes away from the photograph. Does
All right.
anybody else see that? I'm seeing it on both my pad and on my NEC monitor.
I can see it.
You can. Okay. That was my biggest complaint. Beautiful picture otherwise.
Hey, the next one is Sicilian Fisherman.
Again, perfectly done, except for one little detail. And that detail is I cannot see what he's doing. I can't see his face. I am taken off by the name Savannah on the boat. I'm wondering about what the person is doing on the boat. And it strikes me if the photographer had moved to where that little bit of fence is on the upper left and photographed this man's face, we would have had a really interesting photograph.
All righty. Next one is Sleeper.
I sort of have a bias here, and my bias is against photographing homeless people, but I'll try to keep that out of my feelings. Again, photograph is excellent, but I wonder if the photographer had gotten a little bit lower and only had photographed the guy sleeping on this big decorative bench and not had the little piece that's in the top right-hand corner that in some ways adds depth to the picture, but in other ways forces me away from him. Nice otherwise.
All righty. Next one is The Struggle of Life.
A classic style of picture. You might say Ansel Adams did this. You know, it looks like that, and it's a very well done landscape. Nothing more to be said about it. I'd like it on my wall.
All righty. The next one is This Old Flag.
This tells a lot in this story of this man and this flag. It's an old guy. He's probably about my age, if not a bit more. He's walking carefully with this well-used flag that you can see the ground straight through it. It's very evocative of almost a different time and a different place. It works exceedingly well. Like it a lot.
And the next one is Traps.
I like the sepia tone in this one a lot. But again, the traps bring me in, the boat brings me to the back, and I begin to wonder, am I supposed to look past the traps or at the boat? So that began to stop me from saying this is really a stunning image.
All righty. Now we go to color. And there we go. Now we're going to do a silent run through a color.
Yep.
And here we go. And then we'll go back to this picture to begin. So silence, please. Here we go. Okay, we'll go back to the original real quick.
Excuse me.
And Carl will make his
Comments?
helpful comments.
I hope. If
Okay,
not, you can yell at me.
Oh, here we go again. This something. Okay.
That lady, this
Title,
lady,
the title of this one is A Smile in Rome.
yes, I would have just said smile because this lady definitely reminds me of the way my wife smiles at me. Beautiful picture of a lady looking directly at you. Everybody else in the background is looking away. Again, perfectly exposed and very nice, but not anything particularly special.
Okay, the next one is I have Co-Cathedral of St. John.
Yes, a wonderfully detailed image showing you so much of this cathedral, and it's just amazing. What I would have done, the one thing that annoys me is that the lights, which is the brightest thing you look at in any photograph, and yes, they lead you directly into the back part of this picture, but without letting you look at anything much between the top and the bottom. It's almost directly centered. I don't know if the photographer could have gotten a little bit lower and worked the lights so they almost came in as a triangle from the upper part of this photograph, allowing you to see a bit more of it. HDR, I think, done nicely.
Alrighty, next one is Confrontation.
Yeah, a good spur of the moment picture. There's absolutely nothing wrong in this picture. It just works.
Alrighty, next one is Dancing Like No One.
Yes, they are. I actually went in on them to look at them a bit more, and the faces are wonderful. And the bridge behind is gorgeous. My only minor complaint is a lot of vignetting was used. So it's highlighting the girls a bit more than I think it should have. I might have cropped it a little bit more to make them a little bit more distinct. We could have lost a little bit off of the left, a little bit off of the right, without losing the important part of the bridge behind it, which is a key part of this element also, but would have emphasized the young ladies even more. Nicely done.
Next one is Foxtail Hat.
This one really made me laugh. First of all, when I first looked at it, I didn't see the number of legs we had here because I looked at it on my iPad. And then when I brought it up on the computer, I said, oh my God, somebody got a really, really good snap decision. I'm taking this picture this instant. Not only that, but the picture is done so well that it's blurred in the background as we want. It's no extra detail in the foreground, and the midground where the foxes are, is perfect. Beautiful.
Alrighty, the next one is Hello There.
And this sort of goes in the opposite direction. I wouldn't like him in my backyard, but nevertheless, he's looking at me, yet I've seen so many pictures like this. And yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be close to this guy, but it's a fairly ordinary picture done perfectly. No.
Alrighty. My computer decided to do something funny here.
Okay. This
Okay,
is
just a minute. This is called, I got it. It's called
lights
Milky
over.
Way over Nauset Light.
Yes, yes, yes. This is not an easy picture to take, although new cameras are making it easier and easier to have the detail that he has in the foreground, plus the wonderful star detail above and the bright light, which just centers you into this. This is a place where light, lots of it, works. It takes you there. It leads you up into the Milky Way clouds of stars. Gorgeous image.
Alrighty, next one is Mirror Image.
Beautiful young lady again, obviously posed. She's supposed to be doing makeup, but I don't see how the title works on this picture. Where is the mirror image? The problems I have with this photograph are the flowers behind her prevent you from really seeing the makeup brush that she's using. Plus, the vertical part on the window is almost sharper than she is. Plus, the outside view begins to pull my eye away where you really want, or at least I think the photographer would have wanted me to look at her eyes. And I'm not. It's almost like it's two pictures. And it should have been centered in a different way to make her a bit more separated from the busy flower background.
All righty, next one is on the job.
The cop on the left is saying, "Did you really say that?" Or something that to effect. A perfect grab shot again. Didn't miss any detail anywhere. Background doesn't bother me in the least. The way their feet are and their hands are is a really, really nice shot. Good faces. Caught in the spur of the moment.
All righty, next one is red.
Obviously. Beautiful lady again. I guess most models are. I think the exposure is perfect. It's the background. But otherwise, nice image.
All right, the next one is resting and rusting.
Everything in detail, everything working beautifully. Whatever this machine is, so I have no idea. I almost would have preferred if the photographer had moved a little bit to the left more, if he could have. And you see the wheel on the top where it interferes with something in the background that I keep on looking at. I would almost want this to move a bit to bring in more of the building on the left. Sharp, nice, otherwise good photograph too.
All right, next one is spring sunsets.
Perfect composition, takes you in, takes you out, does everything. It has the softness and warmth that is there. The sky is absolutely perfect. It's an absolutely beautiful image. No complaints.
All righty.
Serene as could be.
Okay, next one is sunset by the bay.
Usually, and Mike, I think that was this, I have a bias against sunset also. And when I was the president of the club, of the Princeton Photography Club, I actually banned them from our annual exhibit. This one is not that. This is again, and this has happened last year with you guys. This is literally a perfect sunset picture. Everything from the first rock on the left to the bird, to the anchor chain, to the boat itself, and the centered, usually you're not supposed to, we got to break the rules. The centered sun with a beautiful sky, it works perfectly.
Great. Next one is taking off.
This one almost could have been in the monochrome thing. I have to look hard to make sure that that beak had some color in it. What more can I say? It's a perfect takeoff picture. Bird, the eye is in focus, everything works beautifully. I love the background too, because it gives some definition to what the bird is doing, especially the part where the bird's head is just about intersecting it. And then we go to the cut off part at the top. I might have made it a little bit more widescreen by possibly taking off a little bit of the top and maybe a half inch off of the bottom. Otherwise, beautiful.
All righty. The next one is the temple to Athens at Lindos.
Yes, this is not an easy photograph to take, obviously, with the sun coming straight at you. But the sun is the thing that begins to annoy me in this photograph because it is so bright. And yet we have such great detail in the statue that it's just hard for me to get my hand around it or my eyes around it. And I can't say much more.
All righty. The next one is the look of love.
Oh, yes. With those eyes, without a doubt. Beautiful skin tones, beautiful hat on it, perfect background for her. And everything works well, except, to my eyes again, her nose. The white section on her nose, both coming straight down the bridge of the nose and the little bit on the, let's see, that's her right-hand side, our left-hand side, there where she seems to have a little thing in her nose, annoy me in this picture and take away from the otherwise stunningly beautiful young lady.
All righty. The next one is the majestic.
really nice picture of a food mart. I'm not sure that the car works as well in it. I had to really wonder about it. You know, the food mart is perfect. If the car we're trying to show an old food restaurant versus a new car, it might have worked, but I'm not at all sure about that. And that's about it.
Okay, the final one in color is Tranquility.
It is definitely, and again, shot at a really perfect hour and shows everything that it needs to show. A beautiful photograph. There are no complaints here.
All righty, so now I know the winners have already been established, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta try to get this thing back to the.
Which one you want to do first?
Well, let me get back to the different. There we go. Let's go with monochrome and start. I don't know. It looks like we only have a first, second, and third. Is that right, Daryl?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's start with third. Just give me a title. We'll go there.
I really wish I could read Latin.
Okay, that's easy to find. That's gonna be. I see it somewhere. My things are so small. Darn it. Where did it go? Where's that little bird? There we go. I got it. There we
You
go.
got
Third
it.
place.
Okay.
That's by Mr. Daryl Neal.
Oh, geez.
So this picture was taken in Rome, Italy,
Yeah.
and Rome, Italy is infested with seagulls. They were everywhere. They were on all the statues, and that one was sitting there looking like it was trying to figure out that Latin inscription. So
It's so humorous. It definitely does it. And it really tickled me a lot. And again, as usual, your exposure was perfect. The ISO was perfect. There's nothing wrong with the bird's head. Yeah, everything says you got to see a bird's eye. Well, I see a little bit of it. It's just a humorous photograph that if a person walked by, you know, most people could not see this picture. If a person walked by and stopped, they would laugh. Because it does look like Daryl says it is.
Well, it's really lucky that for Daryl when he took the picture that the structure the bird's standing on has feather-like textures as well.
Yes, everything is just fine on it.
And just a rock, it probably wouldn't have been quite as interesting. So
Oh no, it wouldn't be. You wouldn't look at it again. The bird makes the picture.
Okay, second place.
Tree frog.
Tree frog?
Yep.
Oh, that's the first one.
Yep.
No, this one.
Yes, the first one.
There you go. And who's that by again? That's by. I have to go back. Who is this by?
That's mine. It's
Okay. Sorry, Steve.
It's mine. Yeah, thanks a lot. Some of you may remember last year, I think it was, I actually printed this as green and I titled it "It's No Fun Being Green" or something to that effect. And I put it in monochrome, but everybody said it was color, even though I thought it was a monochrome green. So I made it monochrome.
Monochrome. Right?
But
yeah,
no, but they decided it was just there was too much yellow in it. Anyway, so I went home and I made it into a true monochrome.
And it is.
So
it just works perfectly. The way this frog is situated, the way you look at it, the way the leaf goes, great photograph.
Yeah, it was not, first of all, seeing it was not easy. And then bringing out the detail, because it really just blended in with the leaf.
Yes.
But thank you.
I really liked frog texture versus leaf texture and the patterns.
Oh, yes. I won't argue with that either. The frog certainly, with the way it looks, it seems to think it's hiding on the greenery, but in a way it's not. The pattern on the leaves is a bit different than the pattern on his back, but it just blends in. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. What's the winner?
This old flag.
This old flag.
Yes.
And that is by, oh, that's great. That's by Howard. I see a last name, but Howard.
Okay.
And he's
Oh,
not,
Guy is here.
I
I
don't
don't
think he's
see.
in the meeting, so, but yeah.
Yeah,
he'll be-
I don't see him.
Okay. My only minor complaint with this is the double border that he put around the picture. But otherwise, it's such a telling picture. And it was a really tough choice between this and the tree frog. And maybe my emotions got me on this one. But excellent picture.
Yeah, you probably relate more to a human than you do to a frog.
Yeah. But I do like animals too. I relate more to my cat than I do to most people.
It's speaking a lot these days. I thought so. Look at the angle on the flagpole. You know,
Everything.
fitting a diagonal. Look at his
Yeah.
face. Look at the holes in the flag. I mean, you commented it looked like something from a previous era.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And that hole in the flag, I had to enlarge that to make sure it wasn't something that was put on the flag, because now there are so many modifications of our flag, both good and bad, that I wanted to be sure this was a really old flag, which it was. And after enough, it reminded me of my 9/11 flag, which is in the closet behind me. I flew it for a year after 9/11 out of my window, and it literally bleached out. So there's almost no flag, but we kept it.
Well, let me just say that one of our themes this year is America. So there you go.
Oh,
So that's a theme that I think most of us should look forward to.
yes.
Okay. Color, I believe, only has 3. Is that right?
No,
Second.
color, you got an honorable mention too.
Okay, let's
Yep.
start with the honorable mention.
Color has an HM.
Yep. Are you ready to go?
Yep, honorable mention.
Okay, honorable mention is Sunset on the Bay.
Oh, okay. Sunset on the Bay.
We know who that is. Has to be.
That's Mr. Steve. Director, there we go. If it's going to pop up, things are kind of freeze. But hey, Steve, go ahead and talk about it. We'll get it pop. There we go. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I was a little concerned when Carl said that he banned sunset pictures, but
Obviously not. Yep.
glad you got
And
over
last
this
year, I
one.
don't remember, but I gave a first prize to one of your members with his sunset picture. That was shot somewhere in Boca, I think in Florida somewhere. That has simply worked perfectly. So no,
Anyway,
the bias wasn't there.
Steve, is it Cape Cod?
Yeah, it's Cape Cod.
Cape
It's a
Cod.
sunset picture, Cape Cod. And I mean, the challenge here for me was I wanted to get the boat not to rock. So you have to catch the tide just right so that the boat is sort of touching the sand, because you want to make it a long enough exposure to smooth out the water.
Yes.
And you don't want the boat to rock. So it's all a matter of timing the tide so that the boat just settles, but not the tide is so far out that you get a lot of rocks and sand and dirt. So
which you don't want, and that gives you the problem of working with a low enough shutter speed to blur some of the water and yet keep that boat in focus and show.
And you have to hope the bird doesn't move.
You can't control him.
Oh, come on, Steve. You put a fake bird there. I was kidding.
Well, yeah. Today you could put a dinosaur there. They'll eat the boat.
I like the transparency. Good shot, Steve.
Me too.
Thank you.
Okay, third place. Ta-da.
On the job.
On the job. I bet it's under O's. On the job.
The 2 cops.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that one. Sorry, these are.
Yeah, it's really small. I'm working on it.
I know. I'm looking for it. I'm having
Mike, far right.
far right.
Far right.
Oh yeah, last one, far right,
Far right.
and that's
All the
why I
way to
can't
the
see
right.
it.
Maybe I
All the
can't.
way.
I bet I
Keep
can't see
going.
it. Well, I can't. Let me see it here. That's not it. On the job.
No, 2 more.
To the
Far right, top row.
Yeah,
Top
Oh, I know.
far
right.
right.
I'm being,
You just
I'm
passed
being blocked.
over.
No, I was blocked by the little panel that Zoom has.
So am I, but you can take that down.
Yay.
There you go. You got
There
it.
you go. So that's going to be.
As I commented earlier, what are you talking about? A snap
That's
shot
like Ken.
at the
That's like
right
Ken Anderson, by the way.
house.
Ken, where is it?
That was
I'm pretty sure that was in Beijing. It
Beijing.
was in China. Yeah.
I was looking
Yeah.
at the language and I couldn't tell, was it Vietnamese? Was it
That's what I
Chinese?
thought.
What was it on his
Yeah,
patch?
no,
A
no,
little bit
that was China. And
yeah.
one of the things I like about it is he's got two different color socks.
Yeah, I noticed
for
that.
his
Yeah.
Oh, that's
feet up
kind of
there.
neat.
Yeah. But, just
And
there
one
they
is
were on the
significantly
street.
sloppier than the other. And one is obviously more of the boss because
Yep.
he's got the radio and the other one doesn't. And yeah, they're doing nothing. Yeah, it's a great,
Anyways,
great picture that you can laugh at for a long time and say, look at these two characters.
yep. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's got his shoes off. How casual can you be? I mean,
Yeah.
like,
I know. I
other
would have
bank, who
assumed,
cares, you know?
yeah, I would be afraid.
Alrighty, so now we go to, I believe, second place, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Foxtail hat.
Oh, we know who did that one. I wonder who does Fox pictures. It could be Jen Cardinal. I'm just guessing.
Who could have done that? I think she trains them.
Do you
What?
think so?
What'd you say?
Do you train the fox?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
They're hard to find.
Oh.
This was taken in May of 23, and it was in the Vinings. And I was lucky. I was just lucky. I had heard about a fox, an adult fox being in the area, and as I think you know, I'm doing a book on Georgia foxes. And
Oh.
so I went there and I didn't see any the first day. I was there 7 hours going through the woods and all that. And then the second day, I thought I saw the markings of a den. And then the third day, I went back to that spot and just waited. And finally, a couple little babies came out and were playing. So that's how it happened.
Everybody should know if Jen shows up in your backyard, that means you probably have a fox.
That's
Oh.
Alrighty, congratulations. And the next one, the winner,
Yeah. So we
drum
refer
roll,
them,
please.
About that,
Yep. Hold on.
First place.
Yep. Milky Way.
Yeah.
Milky Way.
Mm.
That-
Steve
that's
again.
way
Got
over
it.
here. I wonder who that is. I believe that's Steve Director.
Thank you. The Cape Cod is a great place to take pictures of the Milky Way, but like Jen's luck with the foxes, you have to be lucky. It can't be cloudy. It can't be, the moon has to be not bright, and it takes some patience, and you have to stay out late. So,
Or get up very early. I couldn't do this down here because I live in Delray Beach, Florida, and it's lit up all over. There are almost no stars that you can see.
yeah, it's got to be dark.
I had this up in New Jersey, where when we first moved into our house, we saw the Hale-Bopp comet just using binoculars standing on my deck. And then, of course, they started building more homes and more lights.
Yeah, well, there is some light pollution down if you look really low on the horizon, but mostly it
Not
works out
much.
pretty well.
Yes.
So thank you.
Steve,
You're welcome.
is this a single exposure?
Yeah, so it's a single exposure, and you know what? I have to be sure. I'm pretty sure it's a single exposure, and I'm using a tracker too, so that I could get the stars really pin sharp.
Yeah, so everybody should know what the tracker does is compensate for the rotation of the Earth so that you keep the stars locked in.
okay.
It's a motorized thing.
And how much does one of those cost?
Well, I have a fairly inexpensive one. At least I think it's inexpensive because they get pretty expensive. I have one that costs about $300.
Oh, not too bad.
No, but
Oh.
yeah.
I just
It's
brought
called-
my tripod. That voice.
It's called the Move Shoot Move MSM. It
Wow.
works very well.
Wow.
about luck. I think Lee Trevino once said, "The more I practice, the luckier I get." I think that applies to Jen and these pictures too. So I don't know how much luck had to do with it.
Understood. Not much, and that's why it was first place.
Yeah,
me-
beautiful, Steve. Really nice.
Well, thanks, Jen, and
Oh.
you know I love your foxes.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Al, was that drone picture yours?
Yes. You
I
know,
love that drone picture.
oh, thank you. I enjoyed it too. It's maybe I'll get in some more coming. I intend to see if I can get a few more photos in this time. That was a relatively old one, but you can just pick up. It's like having the world's tallest
Yeah.
camera stand. So
Yeah.
You know, I want to make a modification to what I said. I often use the tracker. As I said, I didn't use it in this picture. The trouble with using a tracker is the stars are going to be perfectly sharp, but
Oh.
the foreground, the buildings, which are moving,
Yeah.
will be blurry.
Right.
And so then I would have to stack it. But I looked at this. This was an 8-second exposure. So
Oh.
at an ISO of 3200, I was not using the tracker for this.
Yeah.
It's one single exposure.
Wow.
would it be applicable to try like a double like take the foreground, then do the stars and apply one over the other?
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
Okay.
That's what I do. If I'm using